everyone. My topic for this afternoon is about disaster risk reduction management. So first, let's define this term. So first is hazard. A hazard is any source of potential damage, harm, or adverse health effects on something or someone. So that, muna siya yung mga signs sa hazards. Next is disaster. Disasters are serious disruptions to the functioning of a community that exceed its scope to its capacity to cope using its own resources. So namo na siya mga natural disasters. So napod tayo ipakuha niya man-made disasters. So what are those? Oh yes, muna siya natural disasters. Next is risk. So risk is the possibility of something bad happening. So, wala naman si risk, no? And then prevention. Prevention focuses on stopping a condition that has already developed from progressing or causing implications. So next, disaster risk reduction management. So it is defined as a systematic approach to identifying, assessing, and reducing the risks of disaster. So the main reason or the aim of this DRRM is to reduce the risk of disasters. And it aims to reduce socioeconomic vulnerabilities to disasters as well as dealing with the environmental and other hazards that trigger them. So next, components of disaster risk reduction. First is mitigation. So what is mitigation? Mitigation refers to the actions that are to be taken before the occurrence of an event. Also, mitigation phases for reducing the overall risk and impacts. It includes the steps like vulnerability assessment, risk assessment, and hazard assessment. So in this, in the first component, mitigation, so this is the planning. So dili na mag-plan ang mga local government in order kung sa mga himuon nila when na ay disaster. Next is the preparedness. Preparedness is also done before the occurrence of an event or disaster. It is all kinds of plans like vulnerability management plans, emergency preparedness plans, and evacuation plans, etc. are prepared. So in this second component in preparedness, so what we are katong naplanuhan nila sa mitigation is ilahan yung bugang action there in order to prepare for the disaster. Next is the response. So, response refers to the activities that are done after the event or disaster has occurred. So, saving human life is a major concern at this stage. So, simba ko pala yun, no? O na disaster. So, this response is how the local government respond to the incident or the disaster. So, mga na siya. Doon na ipang-apply ang mga ito na planuhan. Next is recovery. So, meaning every disaster naman, we all know that there is always a recovery after one. So, disaster is recovery is a reconstruction of the damaged properties or make arrangements. So, in every disaster, not just mga recovery, no, like ito ang ibang restructure, like naghimutan balik ang mga kuan, napipalindog ang mga naguba. So, this is the disaster management cycle. So first is the prevention, the mitigation, preparedness, response, recovery, and prevention. So muna na siya magbalik-balik mo na siya lang. So next, so these are the natural disasters that may occur. So muna siya ang mga angay na pangkuanan sa NDRRM. Ilahang tatangan in case mo ko lang yung mga partner. May role nila. So I have here a short video.
Hey everyone, it's Catherine, and I'm here to tell you all you need to know about disaster preparedness, the things you need to prepare, what to do during a disaster, who do we call for help, and some quick facts on disasters occurring here in the Philippines. Without further ado, let's start. So what are the things we need to prepare beforehand? First and most important, water for drinking and sanitation.
So sa iyahan is mura siya box pero sa ato is nadyo tayo gitawag na emergency balde. Nadyo na siya every barangay. Nadyo pila ko na emergency balde like sa 40.
Hey everyone!
So maura man magyapon malatong giyon niya. So the Philippine DRRM Law, Republic Act 10121. So the passing of Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Act in 2010 created the NDRRMC. So because of this disaster Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Act, so murag may kuhan si NDRRMC, nahimo si NDRRMC, which means National Disaster Risk Reduction Management Council. So it was signed into law last May 27, 2010. So Republic Act 10121 gives more emphasis on disaster risk reduction and identification of vulnerabilities rather than concentration on just disaster response. So instead of concentrating lang on how to respond during a disaster, so this Republic Act 10121 focuses also on identification of the vulnerabilities. What is this identification of the vulnerabilities? So like kanang vulnerable bitaw, ang vulnerable means kung asay mas bitaw like magbaha. Ang vulnerable niya is katong mga duol sa dagat nga mga tawo. Muna siya vulnerable, mga bitaw kuan sila maapektuhan og ayo. Oh yes, my God. So, the creation of the it was signed. The Philippine DRRM law was signed on May 27, 2010. Its implementing rules and regulation was signed on September 27, 2010 and took effect 15 days after. So, National Disaster Risk Reduction Management Framework was signed on June 16, 2010, and the National DRM Plan was approved by the National Council on February 7. The key players under Republic Act 10121. So first is the community, the civil society, the local government, and the national government. So it is important though for us to get involved in this kind of actions nila para ma-reduce ang risk nato during a disaster. So next, the functions of NDRRMC. So first is to develop the NDRRM framework and development plan. So one of the functions of NDRRMC is to develop its framework and developmental plan. Next is to advise the President on the status of NDRRM in the country. Next is to ensure multiple stakeholder participation, establish national early warning and alert system. Next is develop a appropriate risk transfer mechanism. Next is to monitor Development and Enforcement Act. Next is to fund the LDRRM. So the NDRRMC needs to fund the Local Disaster Risk Reduction Management Council. And then assess, develop assessment tool with Climate Change Commission. So activation of the DRRM across the country. So if a barangay is affected, responsible is the Barangay Development Council. If two barangays are affected, two or more barangays are affected, so ang responsible is the city or municipal disaster risk reduction. And if two or more municipalities are affected, so ang responsible is ang provincial. So two or more provinces, the regional, and then if two or more regions, then the responsible one is the national. So thank you everyone and God bless.